Hey Crafty friend, it's me, Justine. Today I'm going to be working with the large die of the month, and it's called Floral Bunny Basket for February for 2024, and it is such a cute one. So I'm going to be assembling the bunny basket as it were, and then I also have this extra card, and I went ahead and made this one already, and I kind of combined a few different clubs together with this one. So I used the regular embossing folder on the back, and I think that is really pretty. And then I used the stamp sentiment, "You Are in My Thoughts," from the clear Stampin' Die. Then I used the wax seal of the month stamp, and that is the Lily of the Valley one. That is so pretty. And then I used the new wax called Opal. So that's not the wax that comes with the kit, it's just the wax that they sell on the website. And then I used the Vivant ribbon, which is glimmerable. I still have yet to try that, but I think that satin look looks just really pretty here. And let me show you on the back a secret. I used this green paper to die cut out the lilies of the valley, not only for this project, but this project. And can you even tell from the front? No, I'm going to pop this on a card base and you won't even know. So just getting a little bang for my buck there. I mean, these are really delicate little florals, but they do take up a lot of paper, I guess, real estate, if you will, when you're die cutting. So I wanted to make sure that that matched my border, and I really love the way that this turned out. And I just feel like I get lost in that opal wax seal. The camera is really not even doing that seal any justice, so I'll try to take some really good pictures of it, but I am just obsessed with that opal color. Alright, well, with this large die, I did not just want to assemble today. I wanted to talk about maybe some shading with Copics. So I have my card base here is with the ED. The embossing folder is the 3D embossing folder, and it is so darling with these little hanging eggs. I can't wait to take my Copics out and hand color this one. I will be posting that video on the 9th. But that is my background for my little Easter basket here. So let's just talk about the dies and everything before I get to shading. So for the basket, there's this main basket die that has just the outline of the basket. I die cut that out in gold cardstock. It's kind of like a brushed gold. I wanted it just to be a little shimmery, but not too much of a mirror. And then if you take this die with the outline, you get the basket as I'm holding here, and that's really pretty. And then there's this piece that is kind of the rounded look for the basket. I'll put that on in just a minute here. And then the handle. Now I cut my card base down to be an A2, so I have 3 layers of matting, which means my blue paper is 5 by 3 1/4. So I'm going to need to make my basket shorter than it is meant to be, because if you look at that, that handle can be really big, and which I think is great because you can go ahead and make a 5 by 7 card if you stretch that handle out. And let's just measure it, because now I'm down that rabbit hole. Rabbit hole, not rabbit hill. Okay, it's been a long day. Okay, anyway. So the basket is still about, I guess, roughly 3 3 3/4, but the basket, if you were to have the handle go all the way to the tip here, is just about at 6 inches. So if you really wanted to, you could stretch it out even more like this to fit a 5 by 7 card. So you would kind of center it here. That's the 5, that's the 7. And then you can kind of tuck some florals in there and you wouldn't even know. There we go. Now my measures are actually showing. Anywho, I'm just saying you can use this for A2 and 5 by 7, which is A5. Nope, A6. Now I'm doubting myself. 5 by 7, we'll just call it that. Anyway, let's get to shading. So for shading, let's start with the carrots because they're dead center. I like using my Copics for shading. When I'm shading for die cutting, I use a darker color first. So I'm going to start with YR07, and I like to use the pokey tool or just my hands like this. And then I like to have some scrap paper behind it. This paper came straight to me in the mail from St. Jude's Hospital. Well, I guess after I donated, but anyway, carrots have all these little striations on them, so I am going to just mark it up like this. And I don't recommend coloring right on top of the glass mat. It will stain it. I think if you use alcohol or hand sanitizer it will come off, but I don't know for sure, so if you wreck your mat, don't come for me. Use at your own caution is basically what I'm saying here. Anyway, this just kind of makes a deeper look for the carrot, and then I'm going to go in with a lighter color here. I know that a lot of the tip will be under the basket anyway, but I just think it's kind of fun to add a little more vibrancy. I don't have a lot of vibrant cardstock. I need to kind of buy some more. I have a lot of pastels. I love pastels, but I need some more vibrant ones. The striations is reminding me of watching the crime shows. The bullet striations. Okay, then the lighter yellow, orange. It's called caramel. I don't know. Is that caramel? Looks to me more like government cheese color. Anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and add some lines here. It's kind of showing up. Not really. I mean, it's more of a yellow. Maybe I should have started with the light, but I just knew that that YR07 would look more like a carrot color. There we go. Alright, so now I have my carrots done, and then I have the carrot tops. Now these are just adorable. Some of them are backwards, but I just plan on adding a little bit of dark green and some lines here, not to make it too dramatic. But I'm going to start at the bottom of the carrot base like this and just kind of flick up. A carrot is a plant after all, or a living plant, so I'm going to go ahead and treat it like I would if it was a leaf. And these are the carrot tops, which are very nutritious, FYI, but they can be green, like that dark green on the bottom, and then light green on the top where the light hits it. And I definitely plan on going in with my white gel pen, which I've been using a lot, and I did pull that out with my stamp and die of the month. Okay, now for my tulip, the tulip has this back piece, and then it has these two shapes that are kind of like almonds, and they have the thick part on the bottom, and then the tip goes kind of like this. So that back piece isn't showing a whole lot, but I think it was fun to put the dark color in the back. At least I thought so. So I'm just going to go ahead and have that peek out from under. But these almond shapes need a little shading on them. I'm just going to go in with one color, Y02, Canary Yellow. And I will just do some flecks up. And I'm getting a whole bunch of Copic on my nail, but you know, I rather get it on my fingernail than my glass mat because I wash my hands so much during the day that I know it will eventually wash off. And you might be asking, why do you wash your hands so much during the day? Because kindergarten. If you didn't know, I'm a kindergarten teacher, and it's a sticky place. It's a wonderful place, but it is sticky. We'll just leave it at that. So yeah, I am so very excited because I am 90% certain that in our new school, which we're going to move into next fall, my classroom will have a sink, which I am so excited about. Kindergarten isn't just sticky because of the kids. I mean, yeah, that happens, but we do art projects all the time. We're painting, and I need a place to wash my hands. There's glue, you know, just kid stuff. So thrilled about that sink. lipstick red. This is one of my favorite Copic colors. I don't know why, but it has kind of like a purpley red to it as well. I know it's called R, not RV, but love that one. And I think it's perfect for my tulip. And I didn't have enough of this red paper to cut out the whole thing, but I figured since the top's showing, we're gonna get away with it. Okay, now for my tulip leaves, which I was die cutting out, I felt like forever. I don't know why, but it felt like it was just so long. Looks like I only have 6 here. So for my tulip leaves, I wanted to add kind of a vibrant green to the back. So I did YG17 grass green. And I do use this one often when doing greens, because usually grass green is pretty similar to plant leaves and bushes. So not that I do a lot of bushes, but if it comes up, grass green is the color. And I'm just doing it on the bottom. You might be wondering, what paper are you using? Well, guess what? I don't know. All of the paper that I use, especially for using intricate dies like these, are completely scraps from my scrap bin. I have no idea what they are. It could be creative memories from my mother. It could be literally anything. So I'm not sure. So sorry, but just pick a color if you want to copy me. Okay, now Lilies of the Valley, I wanted to use cool gray and shade the part that where it comes to kind of the tip. And I don't really think I need that for this. I'm using the cool gray just to kind of shade that, because that's where it goes in and then it flares out at the bottom, kind of like a bell bottom jean. So I don't know. Comment in the comments if you wore a bell bottom jean at one point in your life. I think they're pretty cool. So there's that. Anyway, we have the little lilies of the valley here kind of coming to life. I did see that there are pink lilies of the valley. I never knew that. I've only known them to be white because that is the flower that my family, it's one of the many flowers that is a heritage flower for my family. We had, at my grandma's house, there were tons of lily of the valley, and if you know anything about it, it is a creeping plant, which means it just kind of creeps all over, and we definitely would not mow that if that got into the grass. So my parents took some and they had it at their last house, and now it's at my aunt's house. So we have quite a few heritage plants, if you will. Another one would be the lilac bush, and sadly that is now at my parents' old house. They didn't elect to remove the whole bush, but that big bush came from my great grandmother's house. But alas, it probably would have died if they would have moved it. So it didn't happen, but lilacs are pretty special to me too. And then our last heritage plant is the Christmas cactus, which is a huge deal in my family. A lot of my aunts and great aunts have a Christmas cactus, and they all kind of came from the same mother plant, if you will, which is very special. And now I'm thinking that I put the wrong foot on this bunny. Learned from my mistake. Put the right foot on the right back on the right foot. Just pretend you did not see that. Anyway, back to the Christmas cactus. It's a plant where you can reproduce really easily, and I did have one and I killed it. So right now I have another one going at my mom's house in a small pot, and we're going to try again in my new craft room. So there's that. I think I just wrecked this bunny foot, so I'm going to go ahead and pause the video and make a new foot. And it wouldn't be a big deal, but this bunny foot is kind of like front and center of the card, so we'll just hang on a second. All right, I have matched up the correct foot to the correct pink area. So if you wanted to, you could skip this pink step, but you'd have to put something in the back anyway, and you can inlay these little toes and such. But I am not really an inlay person as much as I am a background piece kind of person. So to me, that is super easy. But I do like the inlays when it's intricate flowers. I find that pretty relaxing and interesting to work with. And look at me using my scraps. There's some metallic paint pen on the back of this bunny's foot. You won't even know once the foot is attached. That is the best part about these intricate dies that have all these little pieces, because you can make whatever you want and it can be with all of these scraps. Okay, now if you look carefully at the bunny's body die, you can see there are some etches here. So there's a line for one foot and the second foot, and then there's a line, like a U line, for the tail. So that is the glue lines that I will follow. And that's kind of neat because it looks like a really intricate die with all of these pieces for the bunny, but in reality, it's only a few pieces. So that's kind of fun. I think I'm going to pop up the bunny tail because why not? This little guy is spunky and he's got the spring bug. So I'm going to pop him up. I think it would be really interesting to see all the ways that people will use this basket. I'm sure people will have all sorts of ways to make this basket their own. I'm going to add just a little bit of cool gray on the bottom of the tail just to show that there's some shadow there, but I'm not going to go crazy. And the feet kind of already have a shadow going with the placement, so I think I'm going to leave that be, but that is really cute. Okay, and then the ears, I love when Spellbinders does this. They give you those 2 circles, and that is for your glue. I want the bunny to kind of have kind of lopsided floppy ears, so I'm going to put them kind of crooked and pop my reverse tweezers in my hand. I'm noticing now, I've been editing a lot of my videos recently, I say pop all the time, so sorry if that bothers you. It's kind of bothering me trying to edit myself a bit, so I will adhere the bunny ears now. Who am I kidding? Anyway, my last piece that I need to shade is the basket. So I will shade just the brown parts, and I use the craft paper for that. Now I'm not going to shade this because it's brushed cardstock and it just is going to show through the back. Okay, I'm using 8035 and I'm going to just kind of fleck the edges and the bottom. Flick, I don't know. Just enough to give it some depth. Okay, and then this piece I'm going to add on top, so I should put a little bit of shading across here because that will make it look like it has that edge, and it hopefully will look rounded. Fingers crossed. Okay, and that's gonna go on there. I don't think I'm gonna add any color to that, maybe just on the edge. I'm gonna use the blunt edge. I don't use this a lot, but when I'm going on the side of paper like this, I feel like it's just kind of harsh for the brush tip nib. So I like to use the square nib on this, but I kind of have to be careful because if I'm not careful, I could go across, and we don't want that. Okay, and then for this, again, I'm just gonna go with my marker kind of on the edge and just darken it up a little. You know, I think if you look carefully at this die, it has the little, man, that is kind of an icky picture. That is really close of my hand, but you can see it has kind of like the candy cane ribbon look to it. So I'm going to take my brush marker and just kind of hopefully follow those lines. I'm going to have to get up close and personal with this paper because, you know, my eyes are not the best, but I think, there we go, I can see them now. Sometimes it just takes a second to move your head, but thank goodness for glasses, am I right? Okay, we're just gonna go on the edge. This is not perfect, I just know it now, but nothing's gonna be perfect here. We're just having fun and we're crafting. Speaking of having fun and crafting, make sure that you join the Facebook group called Spellbinder Maker Group. I run that, and it is just a really fun place to get all sorts of inspiration for Spellbinders dies. So definitely check that out. All right. Well, now it's time to assemble the basket. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I probably will go ahead and speed that up just because I know it's going to take me a while to do placement and stuff, and I've already had quite a bit of chit chat. So I'm going to do that and put some music on for you. Okay, first of all, how in the world did that even work, flipping it over? I thought it was kind of a long shot with the cling, but you guys, it worked. And then I used super expensive tape from the Dollar Tree and taped it up. And I didn't even need to take too long to use liquid glue, and I did not even waste my good craft tape. No, we're using cheap tape because no one's ever going to see it. And all it needs to do is hold things in place. And I'm just going to give it a wiggle here. I think I will add, this one needs to go backwards, I think. No, I don't know. Maybe we'll just kind of tuck it in there, and then I am going to trim this edge just so there's no pieces hanging. Okay, now I will glue this whole piece on to my card base, and then anything that's loose or wiggly will get glued down anyway. So there, that's good, right? I am pretty pleased with how this turned out. Although, now that I'm looking at it, it needs a sentiment. So I think I'm going to pull out the clear stamp and die and get a sentiment. And I think I'll put my sentiment on my basket. So let's just give that some weight. Where's my, here it is. Just put that down so it will hold things, and then clear stamp I have here somewhere. I love the sentiments from the BetterPress, and here's the sentiments. Wishing you a lovely day, sending you a fluttering hello. And I'm thinking that this card reads more Easter. So I'm gonna go with an Easter stamp. Now, I've had fun with this stamp already. And I really like this image. I think it is so cool. And then if you get the clear stamp and die, you're going to get the die to cut it out. That looks like this. So it die cuts it out very intricately. It is a total win. So I think I'm going to use the one that says Happy Easter. And that's going to go, oh my, that's going to go, oh, my basket's covered. Okay, I'm going to go rogue and use a non-club item for this, but this is Easter bunnies from Simon Hurley. I'll link this in the description, but these bunnies are just so adorable. There are coordinating dies for them as well, so that's fabulous. I made a whole video with these bunnies already, so if you want to see more, go ahead and check that out. I think I'm going to use the one that says Bunny Hugs and Easter Wishes, just because to me, I mean, it's a bunny, so it makes sense. I will just grab some ink and some white scrap, and then we'll add it on. I already have ink on my fingers. Okay. Are you even crafting if you don't have ink on your fingers? There's always ink on my fingers, but whatever. Okay. Anytime I do a sentiment like this, I try to justify it in the corner, and then I only have to cut 2 sides. So that's a little life hack for you. I did not make that up. I don't know who did, but I use it all the time. And then for sentiments like this, I like to use my mini trimmer because they're just, it's very tiny and it just makes sense to me. So just slice and dice here. That definitely needs something on the back to matte it. I think I'm going to go with a light blue to kind of go with the background, or maybe a pink. I know I mentioned before that we are buying a new school. If for whatever reason you feel like you want to donate to that, you can message me on the maker group and I'll send you the link for that. Don't really want to put it out on YouTube just because I don't want anyone to feel like they need to. So, but if you're feeling like generous or whatever, if you're have a little extra laying around, then I would love for you to donate to that cause. All right, well, there you have it. First time I said there you have it. Now I'm shaking this card and I'm looking at my Lily of the Valley here and this tulip. It needs some glue behind it, so I am going to add some glue there just so it's not falling off of the card. Put it right on top of that red one, and then just a few dots under these little lilies, and we'll be good to go. So anyway, happy February to you. Should be a good month. Lent starts soon, so getting ready for that. And Valentine's Day is coming up. That's always a fun day with the kiddos. Okay, enough chat and babble. Let me know which one's your favorite in the comments, and like and subscribe for more videos in your future. We'll see you next time. Bye, crafty friend.